All right, so here we are finishing the day. Nicely green today, nice base hit today, 153 in the green. I had one solid trade on AIMD, $140 winner, and that gave me a nice profit. And from there on, I did take a couple trades, FXLY and SOBR, but ended up getting back a little bit of profit. And then pretty much called it there. Still in that bear market momentum, slow momentum. So, I'm just trying to work with what I got. I had one nice trade in AIMD, 150 bucks, and I'm okay with taking that off the table, and kind of not really wasting the rest of my day looking at the markets. We did have a decent move here on FNGR midday, but I was at the gym during this time and I wasn't able to trade it. Did I trade it? No, I didn't trade it at all, actually. So let's go through the trades. I can review the trades that I took pre-market on AIMD, and I do have a live recording that I will go over really quick to show that one trade. Let's see if this will show up. All right, so here he broke back over VWAP, kind of like on the lower end of the support, and I thought we would kind of hold VWAP and run, but we did flush back under VWAP, took a small loss, and then LITM popping up. This one wasn't too bad, but again, my pre-market skills are not the best. Took a 3-cent loss here, and then it finally broke out. Added at 202, selling for a half-a-cent gain. Running up first pullback, taking a 1-cent loss on the first pullback. Didn't have that conviction to hold, and here taking a 1-cent gain. Man, I really missed a little bit on LITM. It's just something with pre-market. It's just really hard for me to read the direction of the momentum. Like it does, like the price does break out, but it's harder to read it on the level 2. It's harder to get in and get out of positions. A little bit slower, and I'm not able to use market orders, but it's definitely something I need to work on for sure. Pre-market is definitely not my strong suit. So LITM, was looking at this at the open. I thought this would be the winner because we had a nice breakout after 9 a.m. So I thought this would hold up and run. And we didn't really hold up, took a very, very small loss in this area, and then started to look for other opportunities. SOBR we can go over because I won't review that in my recording. This thing made a decent move here. I started trading the break of 50 for a 1-cent gain. First pullback, dip trade for another cent gain. Here's another cent gain at 59, another dip buy, and then another dip buy off the low, break even. And then trying to get the breakout, but I did get filled kind of high at 72 and got caught a little bit in that flush. So SOBR, small gains. A good entry word was if I did hold this 259 entry, but I didn't hold that. SOBR did have pretty inconsistent volume, so definitely harder to trust, but I was able to get small green on it. Left a little bit on the table on that one. And FXLV, I thought this one would be a good one to trade. So we kind of broke out of this wedge. Here, Hill VWAP breaking out here. I did miss this entry. I was eyeing it up here, but then I was looking at AIMD for maybe some potential continuation, but I was trading AIMD, and then I finally saw this as it was breaking out. I was a little bit too late. I was looking for that entry for that breakthrough 318, which I did miss. Then I got back in, 26, really high, 3-cent loss, and then a 1 cent gain here on the dip. It did hold up a little bit, but didn't really break out relatively soon. Did get back in at 327 for the break of 329, 330, and very choppy in this area. It did flush all the way back down, sell off all the way back down to 321, which was definitely showing some weakness. So I kind of got shaken out there for a 1 cent loss, and then getting back in at 330 for the break of 330, selling at 332. So FXLB down $16. And now I'll go over AIMD to showcase the trade that I had here. So at the open, we popped up higher volume, some really good volume profile. We have over 1 million shares traded, so it's pretty good. We broke over the pre-market pivot of about 211, 212, holding over the pre-market pivot. We have a stack of bids. This is where I need to start scaling and put in my starter position. Now we're looking for the break of 223, the pre-market highs. So sometimes you'll see when a stock pops up like this, it will reject and then like flush and test the lows. A lot of times you'll see that on small caps, and then curling up again to retest the highs, and then finally breaking out. Sometimes you'll see that pattern. So you do have to be cautious buying up here at 215 because you're a little bit extended. So you don't know if the sellers are going to come in and push this back down. So if you're getting in at 215, you kind of want to, it could be worth it if you're reading the tape and you see a stack of bids, or if you're giving it some time and you see that the price is holding throughout the duration of the minute, of the 1 minute and the 5 minute candle. If it's holding up very well above the pre-market pivot, then that shows that it's actually strong. But sometimes you'll see it pops up to break the pre-market pivot right at the open, and within a few seconds it rejects, and you'll see this either in the same candle or the next candle. You'll see it reject all the way down, retesting the lows, breaking the lows, finding some support, and then finally curling up to break back over the VWAP and then test the highs. And that's where you get the really good short squeezes. That's called the red to green move, where it goes red in the day and then goes green on the day and squeezes out any short sellers that are in. So that's a really powerful setup there. So definitely be cautious if you're buying somewhere up here in 215, 216, breaking over the pre-market pivot right at the open, because it's so volatile right at the open. You don't know if it's authentic strength or if it's just going to be a volatility pop. And you can kind of gauge whether if it's authentic or not by giving it a little bit more patience to see if it's holding the upper ends of the candle, and you're not seeing in the middle of the candle formation it's fluctuating down and then up and down and up and down and up. You don't really want to see that, because then that shows that it's battling with the sellers. Right now you could see that it's strong because it's closing towards the upper ends of the candle, and you don't see those sellers coming in pushing the price all the way down to form a topping wick, and it's not all like jumpy. So this is a really good sign of strength. And so here I go in, but I was going in such small size, 500 shares, very small size for some reason. But I put it in, the order in at 216. I did get filled at 216, but it kind of like lingered a little bit, so it was a little bit slow. And then here I'm taking small, I don't know what I'm doing there. And then I get back in at 225. So I kind of butchered this breakout. I really did. So I was thinking we'd get a 1 minute pullback. And then it goes, and I'm getting filled at 24, and I'm still just buying as it going up. So it's not really good. I ended up selling for about, that's probably break even, to be honest. Now it already broke out, and now I'm seeing if it's going to have any continuation. Now I'm looking for maybe the 1 minute pullback, maybe some continuation. At this point, I'm thinking that this could go maybe to 250. So now looking for the 1 minute pullback. We just ran about 15% from the open, 30 cents, so about 15%. So now it's probably due for 1 minute pullback. So we do get the 1 minute pullback, and you can see it's strong that there's buyers because once you get in, you can see it like have a reaction when it's selling off in that first 1 minute pullback. So a lot of people are getting in that 1 minute pullback. So I kind of scalped the low of that candle. Got back in at 26, adding at 27. It looks strong. It's forming a bottoming wick. And anytime it dips farther low, it's getting bought up. So you can tell that there's a lot of buyers sitting on this. So I'm thinking this is going to make another leg, another nice green candle up. Either within the same candle or the next candle. I do kind of cut it for break even there. And then getting back in, same price. Selling for a 1 cent gain. It's a little bit sluggish. So now I'm looking for the break of the high, and we don't get it. You don't immediately get it, I sell. And I'm still at break even on the day. So I didn't have any good trades yet on AIMD. So did some pretty bad trading so far, but now we're coming back for that second dip down here. Could be second dip I usually take. It's usually the third or the fourth dip. The third and the fourth dip, I'm usually small size there. I do kind of scalp the lows there, made a little bit. Now I bumped it up to 1,000 shares increments, which is good. So each order is going to be about $2,270, $30 on the day off scalping those lows. Now it's still holding the lows. It hasn't made a new low yet. We have decreasing lower relative selling volume, so that's a good sign. We didn't really have a topping wick here on the 5 minute because we didn't break out yet, so there's still potential to run. Could just be a little bit more of an extended 1 minute pullback, maybe not within the next minute, but give it some more time. It's still considered a 1 minute pullback, and then a 5 minute micro pullback if you're looking at the 5 minute chart. So I had my first entry at 25, and now it's gonna test. It looks like it's about to test the highs again. So I have my starter at 25, adding at 28, and I'm in 4,000 shares at 27 or 28. So 4,000 shares before it's testing the highs. Yeah, it's a little bit risky. 4,000 shares is a $9,000 position size right here. So it needs to go immediately, or I'm gonna be sizing down. And it did kind of reject there a little bit, so I got spooked out. So I sold 1,000 for break even. And then there we go. We're starting to test the highs, and as soon as we break out, I'm taking it all off. And that was my $170 win, or $140 because I was already up $30 on the day. And this rejects, doesn't go any farther. I could tell the stock was a little clunky. It felt really clunky. And so that was pretty much it on AIMD. However, I did miss an amazing dip buy. So an amazing dip buy. Here I'm way too early. Boom! And I lost what was my entry there? So my entry was 23.91, and then immediately it flushes down. I was way too early on the dip. This would have been a great entry. And here I am selling because I got in too soon. So I just lost, 7 cents times 5, so $35 right there. Now I'm trying to recover that by trying to scalp the lows. So scalping the lows there. I didn't even think to hold that, so I made a little bit back. So all in all, I lost maybe $10 after I made most of that back after that loss. But I didn't even think that this was a potential hold because we did see that reclaim. We did see that reclaim. and then back towards near the highs, but did reject. But that was a 10 cent or yeah, about a 10 or 15% potential dip buy. We can take a look at it on the 5 minutes. I'm going to close out of this. You can take a look at this on the 5-minute chart because I'm actually curious if this bounced off. What this bounced off of here? If it bounced off, so it looks like it bounced off VWAP on the 5 minute, on the 1 minute, yeah, VWAP 9 EMA. So after it has a nice stock has a nice big breakout in high volume, high buying volume. It's a low float. Usually, you might get micro pullbacks or 1 minute pullbacks extended above the 9 EMA for the first and the second pullback. If it's a really strong market, the second pullback or the third pullback will be the test of the 9 EMA if it's a really strong market. So you might not see that retest of the 9 EMA until the third pullback or the fourth pullback in a really hot market. In a cold market, you may not even get the second pullback. For example, here we never even got the second pullback. But if it did break out again, the second pullback would likely be the 9 EMA retest. And if that failed, it would be the 5-minute 9 EMA retest. So here we did get on the first breakout, the first pullback, we got that micro pullback rejected, and now we're looking for the next area of support, which I did get into early at 223. The right entry was down here off the 9 EMA or the 5-minute setup, the 5-minute dip, which was the dip off VWAP as well. And the 5-minute would be the next area of support, and the 5-minute would be off VWAP. So after rejecting, the first 1 minute micro pullback or 1 minute pullback on a fresh high volume, the next area of support is no longer going to be here because it's shown that it rejected those highs and there's sellers pushing this back down. And so what you want to see is how price is going to react when it breaks this low here, the 1 minute pullback low. You want to see what's going to happen there. If it's going to flush down below and hold below this 1 minute pullback, or if the wick is going to get bought up. And this can also be valuable on the 5-minute chart as well. So the 9 EMA was the next area of support after rejecting this low. So in a colder market, you might get that 9 EMA retest on that first pullback, and that would be a really good entry if it's a high volume breakout. But then to recap, if it's a hot market, you may not get the 9 EMA retest for the first pullback. You won't get it for the second pullback, and you may not even get it for the third pullback. But the first time it does test the 9 EMA, no matter how high the stock runs, could be a good entry. It usually seems to be a good entry, unless it's really extended. If you see those stocks that go, halt after halt after halt after halt up and make like a 40-50% move, then those can just be so extended that there's just so much selling pressure that it doesn't even hold the 9 EMA and it runs down, it completely rejects and retraces the whole move. We've seen that, and that's where you don't want to be stuck buying dips if it's just so extended. So it definitely kind of takes a little bit of awareness of what kind of stock you want to look for when you're buying that 9 EMA dip. But this was a really good example. We did reject the 1 minute pullback here, and now you're looking for that next area of support in the 1 minute, which would be the 9 EMA. And usually the first retest of the 9 EMA after a fresh breakout is a good entry. But you do have to obviously keep in mind looking at the tape, the level 2, making sure there's buyers on it, and if it's not closing near the low of the candle. Here we did get that bottoming tail, reclaiming the previous low after retesting the 90 main VWAP. This is bullish. You could have got a nice 10 cents there. So really, really good dip buy there. But I missed a lot of opportunity. This breakout here and this here. So total there's probably 3 good scalp opportunities. One here, and one here. I only got one. I only got this quick 1 minute pullback and sold into the retest of the highs, which I will take. It's $150, but I'm sure I definitely left some money on the table. But I can't be too down on myself because I'm still doing all right. Green is good, and it could just as easily been red today. So that is it, finishing up 153. I will do the monthly recap coming out very shortly this weekend. And so I'm excited for that. It's been a 20-minute recap so far. So we're going to wrap this up here. If you're still watching, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the monthly recap. All right, peace.